Hey, we are now halfway through the series of the Slate Talks, the podcast. My name is Cheche, your resident host, and today's episode is about to be more playful and personal as I share my favorite films, but in specific categories or genres. Last time, I talked about my favorite non-narrative film on my third episode, and following that, I also shared my favorite film genre, which was pretty sophisticated of mine to share. In most notable films being critically acclaimed, most of it that we witness are in narrative forms. But as for this episode, we better shift tables because I am about to share some of my recommended documentaries, experimental, and animated films that convinced me to be enthusiastic about them. For documentary films, I recommend two. First is Miss Americana directed by Lana Wilson, and the second is The Social Dilemma directed by Jeff Orlowski. So, back in January 31, 2020, 12 Grammy winner Taylor Swift released a movie documentary named Miss Americana. And its title is derived from her politically anthemic song, Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, which is a good song by the way. The documentary film talks about her journey within 13 years as a musician at that time of release and how she broke her silence and spoke dealing with politics. Plus, Swift herself unveiled some of the struggles she encountered including her eating disorder, the truth about the sexual assault case that somehow caused her before to be cancelled on Twitter with the hashtag Taylor Swift is over party at #1 trending worldwide around 2016. I got so many lessons from this life-changing documentary for some reason that I am also an avid fan of her discography. And the way she stood more for activism, for artists' rights, gender equality, and women empowerment. Moving forward, The Social Dilemma is one of the most life-learning and life-changing films I watch because of the fact that the shape and existence of social media has affected the people's behavior and how it became a factor to capitalize it through advanced technological algorithms that will somehow influence the people to be the primary victims of this information. Spreading fake news has been inevitable, and it comes with multiple factors how social media has emanated to alter our emotions, behaviors, health, and personal biases. I remember watching this because I was looking for a technical framing reference for a school project. Yet, I tended to watch it for a reason as well that it was relevant in my perspective that the 2022 Philippine presidential elections had its resemblance to this documentary drama film. One thing that I would like to share with you is that this film somehow represented me in such a way that today's living generations are becoming more psychologically damaged individuals brought on by the impacts of information surplus and some advanced technologies existed. I guess this is one of the most potent films that should be publicly discussed nowadays. Meanwhile, we now proceed with the experimental category, and my favorite experimental film was Rambutan, which was released in 2021 and directed by Shaila Perales of Mapua University. This short film was also a qualified finalist of Piling Obrang Video 18 alongside the short film I mentioned from my third episode, which was the An Eidolon Name Night. As for this film, it achieved the Best Film Award because of its stunning, unique portrayal of the actual rambutan and other presented fruits as a sort of creative visualization of how the COVID-19 pandemic changed our lives. This is only a 5-minute short film that delivered an entertaining way that attracted the viewers to make it worthy of its award. To know more about the said film festival, you can search Piling Obrang Video on Facebook page and help promote the film festival once the new edition comes out soon. Last but not the least, for the animated one, I always say that Disney's Frozen, released in 2013 and 2019, will be my favorite animated films of all time. Not because it is one of the highest grossing animated films during pre-pandemic times. I want to share not only the prequel, but also the sequel because both parts serve me a different purpose of life, from what it means to show love to our loved ones and our personal strengths and weaknesses as humans. From the first part, it tells us to overcome our fears and take the risk, given that we only get courage from ourselves. Also, Elsa's journey understanding her icy powers did not signify she was totally different from normal people, and she proved to be unbothered by the stereotypes and the people's judgments, and is no longer a subject of satisfaction to male gaze. While for the second part, the characters developed maturity as they dealt with discovering the truth and unraveling the wrongdoings of the past, especially the Arendelian sisters. For some reason, I found my comfort zone with the portrayal of seasonal themes and the genuine essence of love from the main characters. Today's podcast is so special for me so far since I shared a lot today about my favorite films under specific categories. I think we have reached the point that we need to move forward discussing more of the technicalities and analysis of some aspects in film, which you will hear in the following episodes of my podcast soon. Once again, this is Cheche from the Slayedt Talks, the podcast, and I thank you for listening to this wonderful episode, and see you around!